All right, folks, welcome on back here this Thursday afternoon, October 26th, shortly after 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Let's get a nice big old squeeze up on the market heading into the close. Maybe a nice pop here and squeeze up on this Lian trade right now as I'm talking. Great to see Chuck still with us here, and maybe as well as on Sava, the stock, SAVA too. So great to see Chuck, Ravina, Rich, had Andrea, had Bill just before, and all of our students and members alike inside our live trading room there. Great to have you back. And hey, you can't see me on webcam, but you got my screen up. You can hear my lovely voice if you're on social media, Facebook Live, LinkedIn, Twitter, the works at Cyber Trading U. As always, be a friend, tell a friend. Make sure that you're subscribed to all of our social media streams. Of course, we go live here on YouTube during the mornings and afternoons. Throughout the week, sometimes myself and Fausto do a full live hour-long stream of the market open. So make sure you're subscribed there. But as well as on Twitter, how about this? Make sure that you're following along on a couple of things on our Twitter pages here. So at Cyber Trading U, namely, and you can see here, more or less, if anything, look to follow us to get the full view of these pictures. You can click on them, view them, but I'll leave it to you to add us, subscribe to us, follow us here on Twitter at Cyber Trading U. But something really cool, actually. We'll see if it pans out or not. Obviously, we are smarter money than ChatGPT here. So we look to follow the real buyers and sellers here at CTU. But, we actually asked this through AI, through ChatGPT last night, asking, hey, with the market continuing to drop, let's analyze this SPY weekly chart. You could actually put a picture through ChatGPT. If you're not familiar with this just yet, again, just make sure that you're following along at Cyber Trading U on Twitter. But then also we ended up making a couple of posts along with the market, the S&P. And with that, just even heading into this week, this looks like a lot of lines here, Manya, right? We have the full analysis, at least right there in text. But more or less, we ended up seeing the SPY drop down at first towards this level here heading into yesterday afternoon. And I was very much looking forward to seeing a bounce. I'm always looking for a nice bounce sooner rather than later, especially heading into the end of this calendar year, coming off September. So yesterday afternoon, I was looking for a bounce into the morning here. And that was before the initial jobless claims report came out. That's before even the futures tanked last night. And unfortunately, what happens is with a swing trade is you can't trust the market always. And as much as I wanted to, I ended up getting a big drop in overnight. And with that, as soon as the market opened up, I ended up cutting ties and taking a decent sizable loss on some calls. So with that said, not always perfect, right? But as we turn back to the SPY chart here, I'll show you it live. Nice pushes I'm talking. Love to see that part. Yeah, at least across off of 412 and change. These lines I just drew impromptu throughout the afternoon. They were kind of just holding throughout the day there. So more or less, this was our next major support level. If you were inside our live trading room, you knew this because not just following us on like Twitter, but you got the full Josh commentary all the way through, the whole way through, right? So I was telling you, I was looking for this to make a move up and over 415. We are on our way. Now heading into the close, we'll see if we can keep pushing. Obviously, I'll take as much as I can get here, but the calls I took were for November 17th. You're not doing as much the 0 days till expiration at first, or at least later on. You could do them at first, but throughout the afternoon, the time decay like really screws with you. So you got to go into more like later dates. So I did November 17th. And with that, getting a nice squeeze up, but level by level. 415 technically is the next level. I don't have it drawn there, but it wouldn't shock me if that becomes resistance. Looking at the book map, looking at the VWAP, perhaps, as we had discussed in class, the phase 2 stock course just earlier today, and we'll continue along with that later on this afternoon, 3:05 Eastern time. But look at this, held really well at first. It broke over it, so you wanted to see support here, and it's very disappointing to see such a easy break below the VWAP. You had to assume at that point resistance would hold then again, and it did, led to the drop down towards my level at least. And now at this stage, actually, we smashed back over the VWAP price. So can we hold? Can we get a nice pullback around towards like 414 and change, maybe even a little underneath this and towards the VWAP? But now if we can get the VWAP to hold as support, then we'll see if we can get the squeeze up higher into the close. So that's what I'm looking at heading into the afternoon. But I know that not everyone necessarily follows the SPX or the SPY, let alone options on those. But yeah, for right now, let's go right from top to bottom, see what we could add to our watch list. The ABVC was more from pre-market. That's a dud now, I think. So we'll check in with it perhaps. But Check in with this. 40,000 shares traded up 244%. What do you think is going to happen, right? So this thing is just a dump off waiting to happen. That's like the type of stock that you can never really actually trade. ABVC, we said, is a dud right now. It's a loser. Let me just jump back to my pre-market charting. It looks like a loser now, but it certainly wasn't by 8 o'clock, 8:30. Big move up going into the market open, but it was up so much. It was up 300+%. So granted, we said before, like all throughout this week, hey, look at TPST up 3,000%. Why can't it keep going? Well, of course, on such a sharp angle up, you need to see support build. And going into the open, we never tell our traders here to hold a pre-market trade going into the open, especially if it's up that much. Like, hey, you could always get back in if it ends up building that support, if it ends up breaking a higher high. So dumped off right away, failed to make a higher high, made a lower high at past support, and then that was it. Game over. So, this ABVC is a loser now. It's going to fill the gap back down. Probably the same will be said at some point on LIFW, but actually here, this thing is actually trending back up. Got good volume out there on the book. I actually like this trade for right now. Decent amount here, actually. I'll add this to our watch list. Oh, we got a nice old pop on the SPY. Nice, right off the VWAP. Hopefully it's not a Fugazi pop, and hopefully it ends up building back up higher here soon. But that was a beauty of a move up on the SPY. I'll show that in just a moment. But again, we keep going along here. Got some penny stocks to kind of sift through, at least actually there. So try and skip over them. EDR. I saw Michael take a short. I thought I saw on like 50-cent short or something on EDR. Nice catch. Move up and down. Ended up pumping up earlier today, but pulled back. It is easy to borrow on TradeStation, I think. Seco, another pop and drop type of stock. So this one, you could just tell is a pop and drop looking at the daily chart back from earlier in October. Can you believe that we're already at like the end of the year? We're already in like basically holiday season territory. It's crazy. Where'd the summer go? Just like yesterday, we were like Labor Day. Even before that, like, late August time, it was like kind of deathly hot here in Florida. Now it's definitely the good time this season for me here. But, either way, where'd the time go? It's already October 26th. All right. So IBRX, this is a stock right now. It's actually trying to squeeze back up here. I was looking for support to build at 180 earlier today, and it did. But like I said with the SPY, thankfully we got the push up in the market. But, laying over support doesn't make us money, right? Laying over support just is exactly that. It's just support. So we need to get that larger reactionary move after. So with that, it sunk off a little bit, but this trade actually looks pretty good now. I really like the stock IBRX, kind of similar to LIFW. Cheap, good volume on the book. This has great volume, almost like, at times could say too liquid here. But looking at the move that it made today, you're hoping for a stronger run up. It's not as always often that we get it, though. That's the issue. This is what I would still call to be the second win type of move, as you hear me say it at times during this meeting. The difference is that this stock has really good volume. So, hey, you could always have a little hope, right? And this is more low risk to add to our watch list. And I'll do just that. Just showing you the SPY graph here, just a little update. This is the bounce I was clamoring about just a second ago, but got to break higher, It's still holding under 415, so still got a little work to do. What else we got here on our watch list for right now, on our gainers list, rather? MPW, actually trading some good volume right now, 26,000 per min, just kind of making a rounded top, though, it seems. That's the thing. That chart looks stronger on the other two that we have on our list so far compared to this MPW. But I'll keep this on the side, though. I'll come back to this if, I really need to. All right, got Sunrun up a little bit. Now let's go to Chuck Sava. I was going to get to this at some point, Chuck. Trust me. I was going to get to Sava here today, and we were on top of Sava at least a little earlier on this afternoon compared to where we were yesterday, 24 hours ago. So really, Sava took us by surprise yesterday, right? It was on our watch list heading into the afternoon, but we ended up missing out on probably about like 30 minutes of action on it. And here, well, hey, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me, right? We ended up catching this one a little bit earlier, popped up on our Benzinga scanner a little earlier. Chuck was definitely on top of this one a lot more. He hammered it home. And yeah, hopefully for right now, this can look to make a higher high heading into the afternoon. It's still holding support pretty well, at least. So SAVA, a little more expensive and definitely a little bit more thin volume on the book here. But, for right now, we'll see if this keeps going. All right, so SPY chart right now just broke back under the VWAP. So I wouldn't call this a clean break yet, though. So you want to give it a tiny leeway here, tiny leeway. So honestly, I wouldn't be extremely worried about this just yet, but let's just, begin to get that, so to say, slingshot, right? And keep it moving. Keep it going here, folks. What else we got here on the gainer side? Sava made the cut here, Chuck. Not much that looks familiar. I'm kind of just brushing through here, looking at any familiar names. BTAI was from this morning and yesterday, right? Oh, it actually made a comeback up towards and above yesterday's close price, or yesterday's open price, rather, pardon me. It's at the highs. It's at the highs, and it's got decent volume on the book. It's trading about 10, 12,000 shares a minute. And always want to round down because that number is never going to be on a steady pace. So yeah, BTAI will add. And for right now, let's hop over to the loser side here. I don't know why my 5-minute chart always kind of flip-flops the SPY out there. I'd rather just show that to you here. It looks like the SPY is making that proverbial slingshot. Oh, buddy, are we? Look at that. There we go. You love to see it. Hopefully more to come. From our recommended level, from where we ended up, calling out that level, at least as far as saying, hey, that's potential support. That's a clearly strong historical level. And on top of that, how about this? We're going to talk about this all throughout the phase 2 course, if not this afternoon, then tomorrow all day, as far as why I'm kind of plotting certain levels like these. But, if you're in on 412 calls right there from that bounce, you're looking good. From the VWAP, there's still some work to do. You got to flip 415. So we're looking nice here, but you still can do a little bit better. We got about 80 minutes left till the market closes, 75 minutes to go. So a little bit more time left. Let's hop over to the losers list. I don't think there's going to be a name brand down this much, but this Bets trade down 78%. Not really a name brand stock, obviously, but crazy to see this thing drop. What was it, 50 cents down to below 10? This thing too, I don't know what the hell's going on with these trades. These tiny small caps are getting murdered right now. AUMN, not much happening there. It's actually shortable. This TVST, it's trading 5,000, 6,000 shares a min. All-time lows. Technically has some room to go to get to that, literal ground floor, right? Normally stocks like these aren't as easy to borrow. So if it's hard to borrow for you, then just move on from it. But this actually, to me, is a rare opportunity at a very liquid short that's at all-time lows that could be worth the time here. So TVST, we've actually been hitting them well in the afternoon shorts in the Cyber Group room. At least for a lot of these trades at the lows, you tend to see some really good action. And for the ones that we were saying could be bounces, this I don't think could be a bounce, but the ones that we said could be good bounces, they ended up actually squeezing up really nicely as well, like RVMD, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, from earlier this week, RVMD. Let's keep it moving here, though. See what else we got. Hertz. When did Hertz get relisted? I mean, I knew this happened maybe a month ago, maybe 3 months ago. Hell, who knows? Maybe 6 months ago. I felt like there was a whole string where they were delisted, then relisted, delisted, then put on OTC. And, it's just all over the map with them. So yeah, they took a huge hit long term. You could see over the last 6 to 8 weeks, and right now here, not doing a whole lot. So trading good volume. Maybe I'll write them down for a side list at some point in time, in the distant future. But yeah, not really doing much right there. All right, quick reminder, folks, we got the phase 2 stock course continuing along for Bill and all of our students like Anthony and Alan and Amy, and I can only see the A's in our chat board right now, so you could probably tell by that. For all of us otherwise, all of our gold, platinum, diamond students definitely that have access to phase 2, make sure that you click that link there, get you access coming up. I'll be joining that class momentarily. All right, so what else we got? The trade desk. I know this one, TTD. I should know that name. A little expensive, but this looks like it's setting up for a big break here heading into the close. Like if it just snapped this trend line here off the lows, perhaps if we can get really some sellers to come in, that could be a good short. But with the way the markets are trying to pop, with the way that I want the markets to try and pop, it'd be tough for that to exactly happen, right? It'd be tough for any like more name brand company to swim downstream, perhaps, as the markets are going upstream. But yeah, if there's anything else that looks good, folks, just type it in the chat board now. Bill in the chat right now, little typos. He's asking Josh, do you teach typing? Not a terribly bad typer myself, actually, but that's probably one of the only few things I'm decent at outside of trading stocks. Not the brightest bulb of the bunch, not the sharpest tool in the shed. Don't need to be a decent trader, though. You got to just be disciplined and stick to a rule set. Basically, consider it like, reading an instruction book in order to like build furniture. You go to IKEA, you got a giant ass couch that's like $3,000. It comes with, well, let's say if you got to set it up yourself. Let's say you got to build it yourself there, folks, right? So, let's say if you got to install and build it, well, it comes with an instruction book, right? If you mess up the instructions, you're not going to get the finished product perfectly, right? So, maybe you'll be able to sit on it, but what if one day you sit on it and all of a sudden a little squeaky nut there and bam. So, you got to make sure that you're as disciplined to the instruction list as possible, the rule set. And, that's all kind of taught throughout the classes there, right? We don't have a literal step-by-step because honestly, it's really tough to train someone over books or text for that matter. That's where screen time plays best with doing that. Now, did I look at Leanne? Yeah, we looked at Leanne already later. Actually, I'll tell you what. If I didn't look at Leanne during this meeting later, I'm really happy you brought it up here right now because I definitely brought it up before this meeting started. It was like one of the more recent posts I made before this meeting started. But otherwise, though, definitely a great reminder. And the stock as well is making a nice pop back up towards this week's highs. So really good move here for Leanne from yesterday. All right, we got a decent list now, folks. I mean, honestly, a couple of cheap stocks that are on their way up. On top of that, hopefully we get that push up higher on the SPY that I'm looking for, right? So again, up, down, left, right, folks. Last call. Let me know if there's anything else looking good before we wrap up. Again, just for all of us collectively, even if you're inside our live trading room, just make sure that you follow us on YouTube and Twitter, mainly at Cyber Trading U. And then, of course, as well, Facebook Live, LinkedIn, etc. Any questions that you got from me, though, feel more than free to shoot me over a quick email. Josh@ctutrading.com is my handle. Always like to post that at the end of these streams here. And of course, for all of us inside the live trading room, you have the most direct access to myself and, of course, to Fausto, the man himself here inside our trading room. So you could always private chat us. You don't need to email us. You got like instant chat, private message directly to us, as well as all the other instructors and education advisors here. But there we go. Right? For any of our new trial members here, there we go on top, Josh@CTU Trading. But I think that will just about do it, right? Just about do it. Yeah, Fausto flag building on the SPY. Like really right under 415. Let's get a big old pop here right now heading into the afternoon. Looks like we tried testing it just before a couple touches here, and it broke over it. So definitely some buying interest, but looks like we can get that potential squeeze up higher. Let's root it on at least for right now, right? All right, folks, best of luck trading going into the market close. I think that's all, right? We ran through just about everything. I did not check Benzinga Pro before I finished, but there's nothing that looks good there, honestly. I'm not just saying that. So that will do. Rich will be on the mic in just about 10 minutes, folks, and I will be in class. So I look forward to seeing most of us there. Take care.